As for other video games that I actually put time into, I played a lot of The Witcher.
Oh, of course.
Liam, you played at least a little. Talk to me at least a little.
I played a couple hours. First thing I did was jump off the balcony. First thing I did.
And discovered that,
Gerald's fall damage.
Okay, you can't keep saying Gerald.
Gerald.
It's Gerald, man.
Gerald's fall damage.
Okay,
I like Gerald better.
Okay,
Gerald.
God damn it, Jerry.
So this is something that's driven me crazy for the longest time, and I remember when the Tomb Raider was coming out, like a lot of people were calling her Lara or Laura.
Yeah.
And it drove me nuts because it was whatever. It's some video games person's name. It's like, no, this is a name that is real.
Yeah.
That exists.
Yeah.
And Geralt probably is a name that exists in Poland as well.
Anyway, at the beginning of The Witcher 3,
you jump off that balcony.
Jeremy is fucking fragile, and he can't take nothing.
Geralt's fall damage is some absurd cartoon shit.
Yeah.
It is unbelievable. You fucking die if you fall the length of your body.
All right, here we go. Molyneux game design.
It's crazy.
A Jumpman game where your own jump height kills you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How does one jump?
Liam and I...
You can hold A forever, but...
You'll die.
Liam and I
Mighty
were...
Bomb Jack if you took fall damage.
Liam and I were talking about like a specific ridge near a bandit fort in the early game
where you just fall off.
It looks like a 3-foot fall, and you fall off, and like 90% of your life is gone, and it's just, what the fuck? That starts to go away as you level, and guess what? Outside that first zone... drops nearly disappear. Instead, you just start to slide down areas.
Okay, that's not so bad.
Boy, that game is shiny. Wooly, you asked me a while ago, when you first got your PC, what game to put in it to make it go shiny, pretty nice game.
Benchmarking.
It's this one.
If he can run it, it's really high. It's really demanding, isn't it?
It's not that demanding.
I thought it was very demanding.
My computer can run it.
What's your card?
You know this.
It's a... 760.
No, don't mess with the things.
It was in the It was in the first 0th percentile of systems out there.
So it's not a 970. It's probably like a 780 or something like that. Yeah, you'll play it just fine.
I'm fine.
It is the fucking most gorgeous game I've ever seen. It's unbelievable. Games like where do I start on this? Fuck. So imagine if Skyrim had really good writing and good combat like that.
Leave all the other menial shit in, but that
they've actually fully succeeded on the actual choices actually mattering. This is the first game that I've actually of this scope that's actually done it. Mm-hmm. So I'll give an early example that isn't too spoilerish. You go into a bar and dudes hassle you, and your options are fuck them up, say something to back off, or just let it roll off you, right? And the bartender's going, man, can you not? Can you just
quit doing
calm
this shit?
down?
Yeah.
And you go, fine. You tell them you're a Witcher, and they all go, and they back off, right? And he goes, man, thanks. I appreciate you not causing trouble in my bar. As you're about to walk away from them, it turns out that they're the local Baron's men, and they start telling a story, and it is the most disgusting story I have heard in a game in a long time. And it is how they're going house to house looking for farmers' daughters. And how one of the local farmers, dressed one of his daughters up like a boy, I think. Haha, I showed him, though. And I'm immediately awash with, I should have killed these guys. These guys are pieces of shit. They're fucking awful. Fine, whatever. I do the story thing in the bar. I leave. Dudes are going door to door in the town doing this now. At the moment. And unlike every other NPC in the game, you can draw your sword and kill them. So fuck it. They're all dead. You continue along with the main quest, only find out I can't even get into a city because those were this guy's dudes. And he's mad about it. So, okay, there's your change. There's the thing that actually changed. So I sneak in, I get into the fucking whatever, I continue the main quest. He's mad at me, but he'll forgive me, whatever. Continue on, find a bunch of dudes trying to burn down a guy's home. Okay, fine. I've caused enough problems, I'm going to try the calm route. Calm down, guys. What's wrong? Oh, he gave your buddy a medicine that made him sick? Okay, I know medicine. I'll help your buddy. It's like, how do you know medicine? It's like, I'm a Witcher. A Witcher, huh? So you're that guy that killed our boys? Okay, well, that side quest is gone now.
Why would
Is
Jeremy...
this fucking written by Telltale?
Why would Jeremy tell
it's written by better
by
writers.
now that he's a Witcher?
What's that?
Why would he even give that information when he knows...
Because I chose to tell them to get them to back off because people are scared of Witchers.
Usually you want to use Jeremy's
I
mind
wonder
control power.
if I had killed them but not said that I was a Witcher, would that second part of it change?
Every decision makes you feel bad. It doesn't matter.
And everyone in this game is a piece of shit.
Yeah, you said
they
that.
are pieces of shit. And the ones that I just described, they're not even the worst pieces of shit that I ran into.
You never make a decision in a game and find out that it helps you later like that? Or like, these guys love you.
As you'd hope.
It is exclusively negative consequences, no matter what. And again, early in the games, like, oh man, my wife and daughter, they're disappeared. Yeah. And within 5 seconds, you're like, I have a strong suspicion I know why they disappeared, man. Is it because you beat your wife's baby out of her? Well, she pushes me. Motherfucker, dude, stop. But I need the thing, so I gotta do the thing. Mm-hmm. You get to the end of that, and you find one of the people.
Heavy shit, man.
You get to the end of that, you find one of them, you don't find the other. And the quest log changes to go find them. No, it changes to continue to exhaust leads. So just go around and solve missing persons cases that may have nothing to do with this, and eventually you may run into and find this person.
That's kind of weird, because isn't the pull of a lot of side quests being here's a side quest with a negative connotation, and here's one with a positive, and you choose which one you want to help out. But they're all pieces of shit?
There's no good solution.
Right. Yeah, but there's no black and white.
Yeah,
it's all gray.
Okay.
It's all gray. And the writing, it's so intense and it's so much shit and so harsh that Polish. I can't play it for very long periods of time because every hour you run into like the worst thing you have ever. It's like Berserk levels of just human evil.
The world is shit.
Yeah, the world is really, really, really shit.
I didn't even remember that in the second
Speaking
one.
of shit, I remembered why I stopped playing. The fucking UI is way too small.
It's too small. I'm playing on a giant TV.
I saw some posts about that.
It's really small.
Incredibly small.
Worse than Dead Rising?
Yeah. Fix that shit. It's not good.
It's made for a monitor.
Dead Rising was bad when you played it on a CRT because you couldn't read it. But when you were on HDTV, at least it worked, right?
Condemned 2.
No, actually, on an HDTV, it was still pretty bad.
I don't know.
Dead Rising was bad on
but regardless, The Witcher is it expects you to be 14 inches away from the monitor.
In the last patch, they increased the size of the loot screen, but nothing else.
Yeah,
but that was the biggest problem.
Yeah.
So maybe they're going to work on the others in time.
I hope they do.
Looks amazing, plays great.
Fan patch out there? No?
What's that?
Fan patch out
Not for
there?
Fan
PS4.
patches?
No.
Dude, this GOG. There's already been 3 patches on the game since last Monday.
Okay. Yeah.
But not on consoles, because CERT.
Of course.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about consoles.
Yeah, but this is where it's becoming like really obvious, because they're fixing a lot, and it's improving a lot.
Yeah.
But CERT.
Yeah.
Right. And it's way behind. So amazing writing, amazing music, good combat, I wouldn't say great. It feels really weird. Moving Geralt around feels really weird. He moves like a car.
No,
like a horse.
Jeremy moves like a tank.
Yeah, it's super
weird. He moves
weird.
like a nimble tank.
I like this Jeremy stuff.
There's a weird, super in-depth Hearthstone card game in that game.
Oh, I didn't know.
Yeah, I saw that.
That's really good.
I wouldn't say as in-depth as Hearthstone.
No, it's not as in-depth as Hearthstone.
It's alright.
It's one Davy Stack Bat from Hearthstone, but as a side quest in a big RPG like this, it's really, really good.
Triple Triad.
Triple Triad's great.
It's more
Dead Man's Morris.
I don't know that one.
It's more comparable to Triple Triad.
Yeah,
than
the game from Assassin's Creed 3.
I don't know that one.
The one that only Wooly played.
I love that game.
They had 3 games in Assassin's Creed?
There was Dead Man's Morris. There was there was a couple.
Yeah, you played them all. I remember.
Spent a lot of time.
There's one storyline thing that I just find super weird because the first 2 games, Geralt had amnesia to make do for people that didn't read the books because they were never translated. Not all of them were even translated in English.
It's such a weird problem.
So they said, fuck it, Geralt's got amnesia, so the player has a clean slate and everyone can explain to Geralt why he's dumb.
Well, do you remember that he had amnesia before?
So, by the end of Witcher 2 and beginning of Witcher 3, he's remembered all of it, which gives you an excuse to go find characters that he only knew in the books. And this is...
The pop fiction use of amnesia is so, like...
Well, there's magic involved, so free pass, right?
No, I know.
And so there's going to be a weird split of people who read the books and didn't read the books, because in the books... Geralt has a long-time love interest with the main female character of this game called Yennefer.
Yep.
In the beginning of the game is go find her because, oh shit, I forgot, etc. But in the prior two games, people who played the games, the primary love interest was a character called Triss. And there was a long, it was a long romance for that, right? So now it's a situation.
Do you drive off with Meryl or you drive off with Hal?
So
which one do you love more?
So here's where it breaks, depending on whether or not you read the books or not.
Yeah, it was amazing.
If you read the books, it was clear that Yennefer was like the true love, and they went into space together or whatever, right? No, seriously, it's weird.
Sure.
But if you play the games, Triss is the only character that you actually know, and you probably grew to like Triss. So within 5 minutes of meeting Yennefer, Geralt asks, so we didn't break up. Why didn't you contact me over the years that you did not have amnesia, but I did? You never tried to write. You never called, basically. And her comeback is like, oh, I heard you and Triss made a wonderful couple. And he immediately responds with, dude, I had amnesia. I didn't know you existed. You were in another dimension.
Okay, so let's work the books into the canon.
To be fair, the female psyche will always still blame you.
And then she looks at him and goes, "Oh, so that's your excuse?"
See, there you go.
And then snaps her fingers and teleports a continent away. And Geralt's just left going, "What
was I supposed to do?
What the fuck?" They were on a break! They were on the most obvious amnesia-fueled dimension-spanning break ever! Fuck you! Holy shit!
It's hard to mend a relationship when she can teleport.
Holy shit!
Jeremy's problem is that he didn't use pro flowers.
Holy
man,
shit!
they can get anywhere. They can be there before the teleport finishes.
It's been a long time since I've been in a game in which a game told me this character is important, you should probably like this character, that I took such an instant dislike to based on these events. And Triss is in the game, so that's going to go that way for sure.
All right, we look forward to the future adventures of Gary.
I only played 10
Gary
hours.
is the closest by far.
Gary Gergich.
Yeah.
I only played 10 hours Witcher 2, but I liked Triss up until that point, but I didn't play Witcher 1.
Triss is great.
So.
But
Triss is in there too, but she's the same character.
I'm only calling him Gary so that next week I can call him Larry.
Gary's great. I'll take Gary. I'll take Gary over...
Devolve this
Just
shit.
keep evolving in the wrong way.
I will gladly take Gary over Geralt.
Well, you're not going to get Gary anymore.
Well,
that was the end of Gary.
Fantastic game. It's, like, it and Bloodborne are fighting for Game of the Year in my head right now.
Okay.
Like, early on. The only other thing I did, I played a lot of Witcher, and I kind of want to talk about two things about that.
Yeah, you were telling me
two or three things.
How do I do it?
One, I still don't know how I'll get around it, so I'll go with the ones I do know how to get around.
Self-regulate.
That game has an amazing point of no return. That game...
messages of point of no return are like... You can do them in so many actual ways.
It is a next level point of no return, where you get to a point in the story and it gives you a series of quests that says, hey, for this big thing, do these quests. And you go, well, okay. I'm clearly getting to the end game, and I'm getting close to that thing that got spoiled for me. The blank of blank. The blank
of blank.
Well, people will know what it is. Yes. Anyway... So, okay, I've done all those. Great. So then I get on my little boat and I move towards the area that I'm supposed to move towards. And a message pops up and says, hey, you want to make a manual save of your game because you will be locked out of most of the world for the next few hours. It's very clear. Weird. And I go, okay, I'll make a manual save. And then I go into it again. It's like, warning! Many time-sensitive side quests will fail if you move past this point. And I go, whoa, okay, I'm going to look up what side quests they fail, and it's the ones that they've told you to do beforehand. I go, oh, that's great. But in process of looking up that information, it's all these Steam talks like, oh, this point of no return, what would fail if I did this? I found out it's not the point of no return. Because you come back. Because what I thought I was gearing up to the end of the game is gearing up to the third act.
You just killed a Orochi.
Yeah.
I'm gearing up to fight the fucking Ninetales.
Yeah,
and I go... But I thought I just beat the second act! And I'm still... It's...
What?
Yeah. It's what?
Game's too short, though.
Game's too short. It's supposed to be this short.
What?
The other thing is that... who here played Dead Space 2?
I don't.
Oh, extensively.
Okay, well, did you play Dead Space 2?
Nope.
Okay, what's the best part of Dead Space 2?
Managing to get the trophy for beating it with only 3 saves.
Okay, fair enough. Matt, I already had this discussion, so just tell me what I want to hear. What is the best part of Dead Space 2?
Man, this has been a while, so I'm not sure
is it the eyeball
hear.
No, it's going back to the Ishimura.
Going back to the Ishimura.
You said that.
It's going back to the Ishimura and having them fuck with all your expectations.
And you have all that yellow space police tape saying, don't go here.
Yeah. So the very, very beginning of Witcher 1, the tutorial area takes place in like a little castle called Kaer Morhen, where it's Jerry's home. And you run around and you have a boss fight in the courtyard and you do a side quest or two, and then you move to Act 1 and you never ever go back there. And in Witcher 2 you never ever go back there. And the tutorial of Witcher 3 takes place there, but only in like 3 rooms. And then eventually you get to go back there, and they have actually gone to the fucking trouble of completely redoing the entire thing with identical layouts.
Cool.
Which really, really got to me, because I still knew my fucking way around. Because of course I should, if I'm playing this character and this is his house.
He should know. Yeah.
He should know when the guy says, hey, meet me up at the guest room. I know where the guest room is. You go through the kitchen, which is now even worse looking than before and bigger disrepair, and go up to the top, and it's fucking great. It's such a... And it's even its own little zone. So you get to go to areas that only existed in cutscenes or parts that were mentioned.
And actually walk around.
It's fucking great. Cool. I'm super in love with it.
Visit the Past is such a cheap gimmick at this point,
but
it always works.
It's so good.
It always works.
And the third thing is, there will be minor
Pokemon.
There will be very minor spoilers for the romance storylines in Witcher 3 in the next 5 to 10 minutes. And I'm going to try and talk around it as much as I possibly can.
Okay.
So, in Witcher... Well, Liam's just straight up leaving?
I'm getting a drink.
I'm about to go get up and get one of those.
Ah, fuck you, motherfuckers!
I'll listen.
Alright, so in Witcher 1, Geralt has amnesia, and it comes off the books in which he died. He just fucking died.
He died?
Yeah, at the end of the last...
What?
The end of the last book is where Geralt gets fucking murdered by some kid with a pitchfork, and he's dead.
What?
Yeah. And then he comes back to life, and he's like, I've got amnesia. And the reason why CD Projekt did that is because, like, people didn't read these books. Half these books aren't even in English.
Yeah.
You can't assume that people know what happened.
It's incorrect for you.
And that's tough, because part of those books is that he is basically married to a character for like 20 years. And that's a big deal. So that character isn't in the games.
Right.
So...
Because that's a book exclusive character.
So, for Witcher 1 and 2, it builds up...
Yennefer?
That's Yennefer.
Alright.
So book 1 and 2, it builds up to like, oh, he's going to get his memory back, and then he gets his memory back. He's like, oh, I got to find out what happened to her. We were basically married for like 20 years. But to get their own story, they focused on a different character called Triss.
So you're saying this is Poland exclusive DLC?
So, no, not quite. So,
language locked content,
and that's where your romance like storyline went with this character. So Witcher 3 starts, and there's a problem right at the beginning of Witcher 3 for people that didn't read the books, which is almost everyone. And that is, since Geralt has all of his memory back of all the shit that you don't know about, he like breaks up with the character you as the player got with to chase after his ex-wife, basically.
Who you don't know about.
And all the early cutscenes involve him going like, oh, I missed you. And like, there's no mean option. There's romantic, and there's kind of playful neutral.
Yeah.
Suddenly...
Playful neutral is a new genre.
Conan's fucking Clueless Gamer video makes a ton of sense when she's acting like a huge shit and you have no idea why.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's like, and that's why in an earlier podcast I'm like, oh, I don't want to hear about, like, she's basically accusing you of cheating on her, and you go, I had no memory, you didn't exist. And she goes, whatever, fuck off.
I lost my memory, goddammit.
And that you can bring that up in a fight later again.
Yeah.
She has the same reaction. You just, what? Fuck off! Anyway, point is, that continues throughout the game. You can even like go and re-romance the Triss character and be like, no, let's do it again. Let's have a real relationship.
Let's start making another one.
But then you go to the main story, and in the main story, Yen's main character, and they're still like kind of an item, and it's fucking weird, and there's no way around it.
It sounds bizarre, yeah.
I like heroes with baggage.
It's a very cognitive dissonance where I'm going in like, I don't like you, Yen. I want to divorce you right now.
I never saw the good bits.
I don't know, and I don't care because what you show me here sucks.
I want to visit a Hyrule where Link has some exes.
Yeah,
and it's awkward and it sucks.
Yeah,
all of them.
But like
all of them.
But like I get what you're saying, but like the
Welcome
difference
to
here is
Lon Ranch,
like
jerk.
They actually wrote the good bits with Yennefer.
And so I spoke to Bunny Hop about this, and Bunny Hop read all the books like during his playthrough, and at the end of that he's like, "Oh, Yennefer all the way." Like, of course, like they've been together forever, and that's like, I don't know that. So it's a problem when he's like, you go to a ball and he's like, "Man, you look beautiful." It's like, I don't want to say that. I don't want to say that. You look like shit, Yen. You're a bitch. So it
like this character whom you should have a good amount of control over,
and you have like
lose control,
and the character you're trying to find is your adopted daughter. So there's an actual like marriage thing going on. So then
it's like if you boot up Mass Effect 3. Yeah. And you've got a canon romantic partner who was only in the book, that was only printed in Polish.
So, but the fact that like you can play it knowing or not knowing is fine. Like, I think that's cool.
So, but it's weird because I'm like, no, I literally just did a quest in which like I'm going to get married to the other chick. Mm-hmm. Geralt, stop.
But yeah,
you're being weird.
I agree with Pat though. Like, I don't like that. Where it's not about knowing or not knowing.
So,
it's like literally I can't choose. I'm stuck with this character, but I can romance this other character. It doesn't matter.
It was getting more and more frustrating the longer it went on because it wouldn't stop. And then you hit the point, because both of them have a quest line that determines this. Then you hit the point where you get her quest, and it's the title of the first book called The Last Wish. And I go, well, this is book heavy as shit now, because what are they? So you get in a boat, and what do? They fucking tell you what happened in a bunch of the books. Okay. They literally just go, hey man, remember that time? Like 5 times.
Okay.
And you get to go, man, that's pretty nice. And then you find out what you're actually doing on that quest, and this is where it becomes difficult to talk around. Mm-hmm. And the goal of that not only totally solves that problem 100% and makes everything make sense, it introduces the most ballsy alternative medium to original medium, far-reaching, series-annihilating retcon I have ever seen in anything. Literally, there is a retcon here that you can choose. You can choose to retcon it. You can say, no, the books were right, or you can take an action and say, no, the books were wrong.
Jeez.
And it completely rewrites every single interaction between those two characters in all of the fiction up until that moment, and completely fixes that problem and makes all of it make sense. And it is perfect.
Wow. That's good.
It is one of Willie, if you have no intention of playing the game or I will tell you, and you will know it is amazing. It is masterful. And I was worried because they're trapped by the books now. Because now they have to incorporate it, and I was worried there was going to be no way out of this. There's totally a way out, and guess what? Dumping people sucks, even in a video game. You're like, that, because your options are stay in the romance or say the meanest thing in the universe. I was there's no way.
Those are the two options.
There's no good way to do this, and when you do it, the reaction is like, what?
What?
But. And then throughout the main plot, you constantly fight because you're a divorced couple that has to work together, right. And it's the best
to get the wild hunt.
Yes, basically the game is it's so good. It's the best. That quest is one of the for interpersonal relationships in a game story.
How confusing it is, and having to be anchored to the books. That sounds
it's masterful. It's amazing. It's the best.
Interesting.
It's the fucking best.
Okay. Cool.
I will tell you after that.
Yeah,
you're
that
never going to
sounds,
play
that
it.
sounds curious. That sounds curious. I want to know.
What a curio.
If I'm going to be fair to Transformers, I could not have played it at a worse time, because the day before I beat Witcher 3 finally, and my hour count on that clocks in at 120. Beat every quest in that game except for the DLC. Didn't get all the points on the map, because that's absurd. And I had a wonderful moment where I beat that game, and there's multiple endings, and there's 100 permutations for everybody's different thing. And I beat it and got my ending, and it was very bittersweet, and it was like, notions and all that shit. And I went and looked it up, and I chose the right answer in every single story scenario in the entire game.
So you got the pure ending?
I got every because there's the ending, which is a cutscene and gameplay, and then there's vignettes of like such and such became a lawyer, and such
the stuff that's related to your choices,
right?
Yeah.
I got the most positive version of every single vignette, and I got the best ending for the characters involved. And the most interesting thing is that I thought that was the best, most perfect, most appropriate ending to that series, not just the game. Only to find out and get into arguments with people, because there are 3 endings, the main ones. One's really bad, and the other 2 are good. And people can't agree as to which one is the actual good ending, because one's bittersweet and the other's not.
Okay.
Which I found really, really interesting. I watched both the other ones. They all feel totally appropriate.
Expect
to
The Witcher
the
4 to follow the neutral
There will
path.
not
Wait,
be...
you watched
Sorry,
the extra endings that you didn't get?
Yeah, I watched them on YouTube.
Huh. I guess this must be a new thing.
What do you mean?
I don't know. If there were more endings that I didn't get, I usually go back and play it again if I want to see
The game's
it.
120 hours
Yeah, you
long.
played through. Yeah.
So?
Yeah, there we go.
Come on, man. I got all the endings for Valkyrie Profile. I got all the endings for Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, but also I still want to play this game's DLC and all that. But
I know.
I'm not going to do that again. I totally... So yeah, they all feel appropriate to the ending of the series, not even necessarily the game. So originally when I started...
Although you are right, Mike, in that is a new thing. That,
For sure, yeah.
jumping online on YouTube is now something that you can do with a video to find out all the endings that, you didn't choose.
I'm
the
old.
endings are 10 minutes long. Like, I'm not going to play 120 hours to get a 10
No, it's okay. No. It's...
But
You cheated on till
Well, I guess it just reminds me of like, oh yeah, this new game came out, like Portal 2 came out. I'm gonna go watch a Let's Play on YouTube instead of actually playing it.
I legitimately, I don't get watching Let's Plays.
It's something that is.
I get watching spooky Let's Plays though.
Yeah.
It's something that I guess is like you always want to have something where the commentary is like adding to the experience and fun for people that are watching.
I hope we can achieve that one day.
Yeah, but you
haven't yet, but
but you don't want it to be a replacement for going out and getting the game.
Yeah, definitely.
I feel like
there's no replacement for playing games.
Yeah, I feel like in many instances, in most instances, whenever we do like a video for something, it's like, yo, look at this game.
Let's go
play it.
You want to go get it?
Go play it.
Go get it.
Or not.
Or not. Yeah.
Really
Or
don't
stay the fuck away from this. Yeah,
you'll
that too.
see fans that give every permeation of, well, I will get it. I can't get it right now because of funds or time.
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever.
Or it's not
and
out
then
in Europe.
see, well, I'm glad to see what it is because now I hate it and I won't buy it. Or like I watched the first part of their LP. I'm not going to watch the rest because I'm just going to go straight out and buy it.
That's fine.
But don't replace a sale with views. You know, like that's
unless it's Bear Grylls.
Unless it's drinking your own piss.
Yeah. When I started playing this game a couple months ago, I remember talking on the podcast, like, it helps if you played the earlier games because you'll have background on who characters are and what their relationships are and the state of the world, but it's not necessary. I want to take that back now because this game builds up to a final boss and then the game goes for like 20 hours after that. And when that happens, like, let's say you have, within your main big world-altering side quests and your main quest, you have 20 characters. Like, 15 of those just show up, and the last time you saw them was in the other games, and they barely tell you who they are. And they're like, oh, you remember this, and Geralt knows who they are. And like, oh, yeah, I remember you, let's go do the thing. And then the thing ends up being something from one of the earlier games that is literally never brought up in Witcher 3 once, unless you read books or like notes. And there are people that I was talking about on Twitter that I don't know what happened at the end. I have no idea what happened.
That jumped into the series for the first time.
I fought the boss and someone jumped through a portal and what the hell?
Yeah.
But for somebody who played Witcher 1 and Witcher 2, it's like, oh, they brought that back! That's so crazy! That's the best!
Dude, that's the tragedy of, like, games that get so huge that, like, the end of the trilogy is the big one that sells millions and a whole bunch of people jump in at that point.
It's like the anti-Mass Effect.
And then go, what happened?
Well, but the alternative to that is, like, you have the books where the third book in the trilogy starts with, like, I am this person, I live here, and, like, they give background anyway, and for the people that already read it, you're like, okay.
So this is really interesting because this game has books that precede it and other games, and it's interesting because everybody that Geralt would only know from the books and is showing up in this game for the first time. It's a character called Dijkstra, who used to be an intelligence guy. He's a dick. Right? You run into him, and eventually a person who read the books will go, oh, that's Dijkstra, what an asshole. But he gets his own long-term multi-quest introduction as a character, and you get to know him through various events. So even if you didn't read those books, I still know who that guy is. But people from the earlier games literally just get off a boat and say, hey, I'm here. You remember me from, like, 2 weeks ago in Universe or whatever. And Geralt goes, yeah, I remember you. You're an asshole. And you go, wait, what? Who is that? I don't know who that is. Well, not me, but people who didn't play Witcher 1 or Witcher 2. Like, it's really, really weird. And, like, they go crazy with that stuff in amazing ways where in end of Witcher 1, you have a boss fight in a crazy location that you'll never, ever get to go again. In Witcher 3, you get to go there again and have a little campfire, and the guy goes, oh yeah, that's where you fought the final boss of Witcher 1, wasn't that nuts? And you go, oh really? Oh, cool!
Just make s'mores in the field of lilies where you killed the boss.
Oh, no.
But you didn't know you were going there, you just happened to, and you just walk in. And
just making s'mores.
I know.
And characters that I was sure were dead.
There's snakes crawling through the grass.
Characters that I was 100% on, there's no way that character... Oh, wow! Not only are you not dead, you're going to be a main factor in the end game. Boy, I hope you played Witcher 2. It's really weird. So if you're, I would highly recommend playing those earlier games.
Otherwise, you're shit out of luck.
Because that last 10 hours gets real confusing. The other thing I want to say is that I love how so the ending is determined by like 10 choices or something like that. When the end game starts, you get like one of those choices every hour until the end of, and then they stop for like several hours, and then you fight the entire final boss sequence and go through a whole epilogue before it happens. So if you're the kind of person who would want to do the old thing of, so instead of looking it up on YouTube, you'd save scum it and go back to before the final boss and change your mind.
Yeah.
It's actually really hard. You have to go back a long time and a bunch of boss fights in order to change that, which I actually really like. Super fantastic game.
120 hours well spent.
That game cost me $44, and that is like probably my game of the year right now. It's unbelievable. That game's amazing.
Okay.
And the DLC is apparently super amazing. I haven't played it yet.
Okay.
That's my week.